सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं कल्विदं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षात् आत्मासि नित्यं ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्वं माम् अववक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवदातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चातात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोत्तरातात् अवदक्षिणातात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात्। त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वमानन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि। Up to this we have seen, sorry for that mistake in the chanting. Up to this fourth Anuvaka, we have seen Lord as the efficient cause of this universe, asking for protection from Bhagavan, and then from Vangmayaha, Chinmayaha, Anandamayaha, Brahmamaya. Now, please repeat the fifth Anuvaka. सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो ध्यायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तस्तिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति त्वं भूमिरापो अनलो अनिलो नभः त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि Yesterday we saw Tvam Jnanamayo Vijnanamayah. That is what we concluded with. We saw that Jnanamaya Vijnanamaya, he is Sarvajna, the all-knower. One more reason for him being the all-knower, very beautiful reason is, there is everything that he can know, but there is nothing that can know him. There is, I can know, see, there is a book called Drishya Vivek. It states this very beautifully. The eyes are the seer, are the knower for the objects. the mind is the knower of the eyes. I am the knower of the mind and the intellect. Now, who is the knower for me? Is there anyone who knows me? I know myself. I am self-illuminating. It is self-evident. So, is there any knower who knows me? No. Therefore, swasya jnatru abhavat. There is no one who knows me. Me, the Paramatma, me, the Supreme Self. So, therefore, there is no one who can know that Lord. Therefore, He is all-knower. He knows everything, but there is nothing that can know Him. That is also one reason for being all-knower. Now, Sarvam Jagat Idam Tvattah Jayate. This entire world is born from you. Sarvam Jagat Idam Tvattah Tishtati. This entire world stays in you, exists in you, exists because of you. Sarvam Jagat Idam Tvai Layameshati. This entire world dissolves in you, it goes back in you. Sarvam Jagatidam Tvai Pratyeti. Now, why this Pratyeti is said again? Already Tishtati is said, Layam also is said. Why is Pratyeti said again? Pratyeti means this word appears in you. Note this point, we will see this in detail later. This word appears in you. Tvai Pratyeti. Then, Tvam Bhumi, all the 5 elements have been told. Tvam Chatvari Vakpadani. You are the 4 manifestations of speech. This is the word name. Now, Sarvam Jagadidam Tvatto Jayate. This world is born from you. What is word? To understand it is born from Him, first I want to understand what is the word. So it is said, Idam Jagatah. Idam Jagat. What is word? Idam. All that can be seen as Idam, all that can be objectified is word. Whatever I can say is this, anything that can be objectified is word. You think of the world in any terms, whether at the gross level, subtle level, in any terms, anything that I can objectify that is other than me, that is outside me, is the word. Now, one is outside things, the various objects that I see. Is this body also not this? You know, when I say, I go to the doctor and I say, the doctor, I am having pain. Where? In this part. Does the body not become this? Do I not objectify my body? So body also becomes this. Sometimes I say, this mind is so terrible, I tell you. This. It also becomes this. This intellect is not brilliant. This intellect is super. This. So even the body, mind, intellect becomes this. And Guruji was telling, when I say the world is terrible, that time I separate myself from the world. But when someone else says the world is terrible, that time I am a part of it. So therefore, I am also a part of the world. I, meaning the body, mind, intellect, equipment, is also this. So therefore, everything that can be objectified, everything that can be said as this is word, idam. So this idam is born from you. All these things which can be objectified, some things I know, some things I do not know. Therefore sarvam. Sarvam, all that I know plus all that I don't know. All that I know will be this much, all that I don't know will be this much. But all that put together can be objectified. This I can objectify. Something which is 7 seas or beyond, maybe that thing I can objectify, but someone else is objectifying that. Therefore, even that is a part of word with the definition of idam. Therefore, whatever can be objectified is word. Now, Idam is Jagat. Again, the word Jagat is interesting. Ja means Jayate, born. Ga means Gacchati. So there is nothing in between. First letter is Ja, second it is Ga. There is nothing in between. It does not stay. No, but I can see the word. Okay, half it is. Tishtati iva, as if it is there. Don't get terrified, it is not there. But if you are not able to take it, if it is very difficult, then for that, okay, as if it is there. Jayate gacchati, jayate gacchati. Every moment is born, dies, born, dies. Tishtati iva, as if it is there. That is Jagat. Now, some years ago, due to Swamiji, we could see some beautiful videos of Gurudev on Kenopanishad. It is still available on YouTube. In that, he describes time. Again, when we see Kalatrayatitaha, again we will come back to it. So, what is time? He is telling them, what is time? Time, what I say? Past, present, future. And I said present is mind, present is here, work in the present. Now what is present man? You know this, now I am speaking, this moment, gone. There is no present, the present is continuously going into the past. I cannot, therefore you can never tell time exactly. In milliseconds, nanoseconds, I can never tell time. If you try to ask, this Varanasi where the time is calculated or wherever, if you try to ask them, they will say at this stroke time will be this. They cannot tell you now time is this, because the moment you complete the sentence, now time is this, that time is gone. You can never tell time. Why? Because it is only an imaginary line between the past and the future. It is going like that. And that present, that time is considered as a substratum to the world. What do we count the world in? Time and space. And that time itself, that present time itself is so fickle, it is as if not there. It is just getting converted. When the past is, when the future is getting converted to past, that process is called present. There is nothing like the solid present moment. So, therefore time itself is so, jayate and gacchati. So, and that world which depends on time, how can it remain? How can it be stable? Therefore, the world also jayate gacchati, jayate gacchati. Then, tvattaha tishtati. The world exists in you. The world stays in you. The world stays because of you. It is staying. It is what it is because of you. Whatever I see, it is because of you. Tvattaha tishtati. Then, Tvai layameshyati. It goes back in you. The world, and it comes from you, it stays because of you, it stays in you, and it goes back into you, O Lord. How do you see this? All of us have seen ocean, we have seen the waves of water. Every wave comes from the ocean, stays in the ocean, goes back to the ocean. Yes? Similarly, the world comes from him, stays in him, goes back to him. Now, in the first Anuvaka, Kartasi, Dhartasi, Hartasi was the efficient cause. Now, Tvattaha jayate, Tvattaha tishtati, Tvai layameshyati is the material cause. Yes? Now, logic says that creation for which the efficient cause is equal to material cause, that creation is only an appearance. This is what logic tells us. That creation for which efficient cause is equal to material cause, that creation is only an appearance. This is the highest knowledge that the Upanishads give us. They have, if you say in the modern world, they have the guts to say that the world which you stay in is false. the world which you stay is only an appearance. They will prove, they will give you the best of the logic, and it will prove to you that yes, Ritam. This is today, this is Ritam, it has to become Satyam. Today it is spiritual knowledge for me, I have to go and realize this. So, therefore, the next thing is Tvai Pratyeti. It just appears. It appears where? It appears in you only. How can you say, it appears in you only means what? All of us see dream again. So, what is the efficient cause of the dream? I create my dream. What is the material cause? Again, as we saw, we don't, thoda matti leke soye hai, thoda kuch pani leke soye hai, I have to create the world in my dream. No, I don't take any materials and sleep. I just sleep and I create the world from myself. So the efficient cause and the material cause is me alone. And is the dream real? Thank God it is not. So, this, see, the beauty, there is an example to tell me that the world is false. But there is no example to tell me that the world is real. And if you go to Tarka Shastra, if you go to Nyaya Shastra, they will not believe your logic unless you give them one example. At least one example. So if you put logic to be proved world is real, at the end of the page, can't be proved because there is no example. But you put on the top, the world is false, yes, dream. So you can go one by one. At the end, yes, prove, this world is false. You can prove it. Tvai Pratyeti means what? Tvai Pratyeti means, see, if there is any projection, if there is any appearance, it can never be without a true substratum. If I am seeing the snake on the rope, it is on the rope. When I enter a dark room, do I understand the rope as the snake? No. I understand there is something in that shape. You see, when we say, you misunderstand the rope as the snake. And if you know it is a rope, why will you misunderstand? So I am not understanding the rope as a snake. I see that shape. That shape is very important. That shape of the rope is very important for me to superimpose the snake on that. Snake, island, water, whatever. But that thing is very important. So unless the snake is there just on the floor, I will not superimpose snake ke yahan pe saap hai. So a true substratum is very much important. If I see mirage, feather has to be there. If I see the ghost, the post has to be there. So without a true substratum, projection can never happen. And therefore, Tvai Pratyeti, it appears. But where does it appear? For it to appear, it has to have a substratum, which is you, O Lord. Can you, if there is no person, is there any dream? I am the substratum for the dream. If not for me, the dream is not possible. So therefore, the substratum is always important for any projection, for any appearance. Again, the most beautiful part is the substratum does not undergo any change. Unless and until there is a changeless substratum, there cannot be a changing projection. The rope has to be the same. Then I will project snake, you will project a garland, someone else will project a water streak, someone else will project a crack in the floor. But the rope, because of the various projections, does the rope undergo any change? No. Therefore, I being the for present law, you being the substratum, you do not change. Thank God I do not change after seeing those terrible dreams. I'm the same. When I get up, I'm the same. I don't change because I see a particular dream. So therefore, the substratum does, unless until there is changeless substratum, a changing projection is not possible. Therefore, Tvai Pratyeti means it appears in you, you are the changeless substratum, and therefore the world keeps changing. Let it change. The bed of the ocean is changeless. On that there can be water waves and it goes on. The river bed, the water can keep flowing, but the river bed is changeless. Otherwise, how will the river flow? So therefore, Tvai Pratyeti. So, this what we did just now is what the Upanishads tell us when they take us to the highest. The material cause and the efficient cause, when they are the same, there is no creation. When there is an appearance, it has to be with a substratum. That substratum has to be changeless. And that world, that creation is only a projection. See, what is the practical application? One thing is, as we said, Ritam. It is today, it is scriptural truth. One day I have to go and understand this. Just imagine you are dreaming. And in the dream, you understand that you are dreaming. I don't know, it is, in psychology, there is some term called as lucid dream. L-U-C-I-D, lucid dream. I think it goes somewhere near to this thing. You are dreaming, and while dreaming, you know you are dreaming. Just imagine the untouchedness that you will have. You won't be touched by anything that is happening because you know it is false. That is the state in which a Jivan Mukta is living. He knows this is a dream. That's the only difference. I take it to be true, he takes it to be a dream. So how beautiful it will be if staying here I understand that okay, this is only a dream. Just imagine the heights our efficiency will reach. Because whenever I am doing any work, I am scared whether the result will be this or that. Whether it will be liked or not. What will happen? When we were studying in the school, we had a very good Dada, a very good Bhaiya, Aditya Bhaiya. And he used to come sometimes to give us some talks and how to speak. Our school was known for that. So how to speak and etc. So one day he comes and he says, whenever you go on the stage, and suppose you are scared, one boy came and he was literally trembling, Tharva. He didn't study Atharva Shirshasva. He was Tharva, trembling. So therefore, I don't know how to speak. So he said, don't worry. Whenever you go on the stage, just imagine everyone sitting in front of you is stone and just go and speak. What does it mean? It means that just don't be scared. Just understand that don't be very much scared of the result. So, there is one book called Scraps and Bits. It speaks of Gurudev's diary, when he used to write. You should go through that book. Suddenly somewhere, some beautiful things are written. The person who compiled that book, she's called Neelu Amma. So, she had been to Sandipani when we were doing the course. And whenever someone who has been with Gurudev for a long time, you always want to go and ask, tell me something about Gurudev, tell me something like that. So we just went and we said, Amma, tell us something. So she was sitting and she was doing various things. In that one, she said, I was traveling with Gurudev and there was not much food to give him, so I had an apple. And I cut that apple, and after cutting it, I realized, I don't have a plate or a proper thing. So I felt very bad. So I kept it on tissue paper and I gave him. And I said, I'm sorry, Swamiji, it is not very clean, it is dirty, but still I am offering you in that way. And then he says, Amma, once we come back, everything is only an illusion. What dirt, what cleanliness? They always stay in that state. They always live, they always function from that realm. And that is where they say that don't differentiate between a saint and a sinner. How can you do that? When you know that there is no saint, there is no sinner, there is only one truth. When I can see the substratum, only then I can reject the projections. When the mind is focused on the substratum, only then the projections can be rejected. So, even when suppose if I get into a terrible problem, even a thought, anyways, it's just a projection. It's so reviving. It's so, the mind will become calm suddenly. It's anyways a projection. Therefore, tvai pratyeti. Another way of looking at the word pratyeti is also pratyeti. It goes back to you. That is one more meaning, but it appears in you is much better. Then tvam bhumihi, apaha, analaha, anilaha, nabhaha. So as we see, these are the pancha mahabhuta, the 5 great elements from which the world is created. Bhumihi, earth. Apaha, water. Analaha, fire. Anilaha, wind. Nabhaha, akash, space. So you are all these. Because we have seen that he is the very upadana karana, he is the very material cause. So therefore, why this is coming immediately? Because one way is he is a material cause. So what is the material? This is the main material to create the world. Therefore, you are this, O Lord. Tvam Chatvari Vakpadani. You are the speech due to which world functions. And Guruji says, what is the spelling of word? W-O-R-L-D. Anyways, the L is silent. So, the word is a word. Without word, W-O-R-D, where is word? Without names, where are forms? Now, can we do something? Can you please close your eyes, all of you, for just 2 minutes? I will say a few things and you have to think of those things in your mind. Pen. C-H-A-I-R. E-L-E-P-H-A-N-T. Car. Dish. Okay, thank you. Please open your eyes. Now, when I said pen, did only word pen come or the picture also come? Picture also came. When I did this, did you only see? Did you also think of the name? You thought it was a watch. Name and form can never be separated. Name and form are one and the same. It is that this one thing, when it is expressed in verbal, it is called watch. When it is okay, let us say, when it is experienced through the speech, it is called watch. When it is experienced through the eyes, it is seen as this. When it is experienced through a touch, it feels like this. It is the same thing. Name and form can never be separated. Why Chatvari Vakpadani? Why it is spoken about speech only? Because even Chandogya Upanishad says, Vacharambhanam Namadheyam. All forms are but names. Without a name, can you have a form? Can there be a form without a name? Can you think of any form without a name? Can we transact without names? Guruji says, first child born, no name. Second child born, no name. You can't transact. You need names, you need words. and those words are you, O Lord. Now, this Chatvari Vakpadani, thank God I studied Atharvashesha Upanishad. All the time when I used to chant Chatvari Vakpadani, I used to feel Chatvari Vakpadani means you are the 4 Mahavakyas. No, it is not like that. It is, you are the 4 manifestations of the speech. Most of you will be knowing this. However, the 4 manifestations are Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari. Just to name them. Suppose suddenly I request one of you to please come and speak from here. And then you come and then you say, on what topic? On any topic. Or suppose we give you a topic. What happens? First I start thinking. I start collecting the thoughts. I start digging into my own mind. And then only the thoughts are going on. It has not yet been formed into any words, but just the thoughts are going on. Something is going on in the mind. Even if some work is given to us, anything that we have to do, first there is some churning that happens inside. Then those thoughts, they crystallize into the form of words, still at the mind level. Now the words are formed. And then those words are actually spoken out. So, there is something, all the knowledge that I have gained, it is there in me only in a causal form, in a very, as an impression it is there, the subtle form, subtlest form. Then, when I am asked for something which I know, I dig into it. There is a process of digging that happens, the subtle thinking that happens. Then this thinking gets manifested, gets crystallized into form of words at the mind level. And then these words are spoken out. So the knowledge, which all the knowledge that we have, which is in a seedal form, which is just there inside, is Paravani. Then the process of thinking that happens, I am trying to search something, sometimes you remember that person we met there, then I just close my eyes, I just try to remember. So, Pashyanti, I am trying to, that process of thinking that is happening, the subtle thinking, Pashyanti. Then, Madhyama, the thoughts are there in the mind. The words have been formed. And then, Vaikhari is actually spoken out. Guruji was telling a nice example. He said, we don't know what will come out in Vaikhari. Suddenly someone comes on the stage and says, good ladies and gentlemen, evening. No, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. So, at the, every state is very important, every stage is very important. So, what comes out at the Vaikhari is what is there in the Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama. Therefore, as we are seeing Vaktapas, Satyam, Priyam, Hitam, Mitam, Vaktapas. When I have to do Vaktapas, automatically all the earlier stages will be ordained. If I have to speak the proper thing in Vaikhari, automatically I have to control my Madhyama, my Pashyanti. I have to do it. It has to be done, otherwise how will the Vaikhari be perfect? So, Tvam Chatvari Vakpadani. You are the 4 manifestations of speech. Okay? God himself is manifesting through speech. So, describe him? No. Though you are the manifestation of speech, you manifest as speech, but you cannot be reached through speech. Yato vacha nivartante aprapya manasasa. He is that from where the mind returns, the vacha returns, saying that no, we failed to describe. So, Tvam gunatrayatitaha, Tvam avasthatrayatitaha, Tvam tehatrayatitaha, Tvam kalatrayatitaha. Here we will see first. Tvam gunatrayatitaha. beyond all the gunas. You are beyond the three gunas. See, I was telling you, God is a dharta, the ordainer. Today this was going to come. So yesterday itself in the evening, we have seen beautifully the three gunas, their manifestations, how everything happens, and it has been explained so beautifully. So you are beyond the three gunas. Tvam gunatraya atitaha. Now if you see these words, gunatraya atitaha, avasthatraya atitaha, dehatraya atitaha, kalatraya atitaha, atitaha beyond. Now what are these words? One thing is, you know what Vani does, what do words do? They describe. When I say pen, this object which has been pronounced, you differentiate this object from all the other objects of the world and you say, okay, this is pen. When I say watch, this is watch. So that object has become different from all the other objects of the world. Why? Because this is finite. But can we describe the Lord? Can we describe the Brahman? We cannot. Why? Because Tvam Advitiyosi. You are Advitiya, you are one without a second. So how can there be description? In science we have seen the definitions. What is the definition? The definitions have to be so perfect that once I read the definition, my mind should think only of that thing and it should not go to anything else. The definitions have to be so perfect, so precise, every word it has to be so rightly said. So, definition or description of that can be done which is finite. There can be no description of the infinite. There can be no, you can't express the infinite into the words. Then what is this? Is it not that here gunatraya atitaha, avasthatraya atitaha? Are these not definitions? No, they are indications. They indicate. No, the mind is taken up to that point. Gunatraya, you know the three gunas? Yes, I know. He is beyond that. Achha. So he is not even sattvic. You know, sattvic is such a beautiful state. He is not even sattvic. No, he is even beyond that. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are the three gunas. That is how we experience the entire world. That is how we see the entire world. Tamas, inertia. We see inertia, the gross body, inertia. Rajas, activity. Sattva, knowledge. So even our own body, if you see, body is an expression of tamas, inertia. Then our pranas, the pranas which keep moving, the five pranas, prana, pana, vyana, udana, samana, they keep moving always. Activity. Even when I am sleeping, they are doing their work. The physiological functions. So that is activity, rajas. Mind and intellect, no. They have the knowledge aspect, sattva. So therefore, the Gurudev called them as the psychological climatic conditions. So is he beyond this also? Okay. So then the mind starts thinking. And what is this thinking? The mind will think and think and think and become silent. And then it itself will go beyond the gunas and then it will understand, okay, what is gunatraya atita? That is the idea. When I say atitaha, the mind has to think over it. Because I can only say, when you can only say atitaha, you can only say beyond. So what is that beyond? You have to go there and reach for yourself. You know, the beautiful example of pole vault. You take the pole, you go up to there, then that pole becomes your very support. You jump, and when you jump over, leave the pole. So understand the three gunas, understand their implications, their manifestations, and then leave them. Then you will understand what is gunatraya atita. So the Paramatman can only be indicated. This is the method which the Upanishads use, which the Vedanta uses in everything. Na iti, that is neti, na iti. You will not this, not this, not this. If you are seeing the rope, if you see the snake on the rope, and if you are telling me that this is not a snake, it is a rope. Now how much ever you try to tell me positively that it is a rope, it is difficult for me to understand. You tell me, can you see strips? Yes, it is not there. Can you see that slimy thing? Yes, it is not there. Can you see the small dots? Yes, it is not there. So when I go on negating one by one, then what happens is, अच्छा ये तो rope है. So negation is the method by which I can reach my own self. In meditation, we just heard the beautiful lectures by Swami Brahmananji. What is meditation? You keep on negating, not the body, not the mind, not the intellect. Then what? Then this. That I cannot objectify. Because I cannot objectify, therefore I cannot describe. Therefore, negation is the method which negation, or it is beyond this. This is the method which the Upanishads will use. So, from gunatraya atitaha, you are beyond the three gunas of sattva, rajas and tamas. Now, what is, you are gunatraya atitaha, Lord, but I am suffering in the three gunas. Is that so? No, you can also go beyond the gunas. Therefore, Gurudev called it psychological climatic condition. It is a climate. When summer comes, you try to control summer. No, I just try to make myself cool. If there is winter outside, I just try to make myself warm, wear warm clothes, etc. So therefore, when the mind will keep on going up and down, the problem is, I treat my mind as my own. I don't understand that this mind is also a part of total mind. I don't treat it as, see, when the body is not well, then I understand, okay, body is not well, so I take care, etc. But when the mind is not well, I say, how can I do this? You are not doing it, it is your mind. And the nature of mind is to make mistakes. The nature of mind is to get angry sometimes. Don't curse yourself so much. Tell yourself, okay, mind you're angry, okay, all the best. I have nothing to do with you. You are sad, okay, be sad for some time. It is good for you. There is no need to get so much affected. Yes, it is my duty to bring my mind under control and etc. But how much will you try to, it's like trying to tame a lion or something like that. How much will you try? Someday it will lick me, if it will suddenly pounce on you and just eat you up. So, going beyond the mind is more important than controlling the mind. Never expect that the mind is going to come under my control and one day I'm going to be the king of the mind. No, it might never be possible. So go beyond the mind. Tell yourself that mind is also a part of the three instruments, and an instrument can get bad sometimes. It can have problems, etc. So when it has problems, give it some time, give it some oiling, give it some greasing, give it some time to just be. And when it is beautiful, use it. So going beyond is more important. Tvam avasthatraya atitaha. You are beyond the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep. Now we always say God never sleeps. So how can there be dream and waking for him? So this is more for me than for him. Avasthatraya atitaha. I am also beyond the three avasthas. How? See, as we already saw, the substratum will not undergo any change. What is the substratum for the three states? The waking, the dream and the deep sleep. These are the three states. What is the substratum? The substratum is me, because I am there in the waking, in the dream and in the deep sleep. There is nothing else which is common in the three states. It is only this me, this I, which is common. Therefore I am the substratum. And I sleep with a full stomach, and I go in the dream and I dream that I am begging and I have no food for 2-3 days. That is exactly the dream which Janak Maharaj had. He is a king, and one day he dreamt that he is going from one place to other. No one is allowing him even to sleep under a tree. No one is giving him any food. He has no water. Suddenly he got up and he went to Ashtavakra Rishi and he asked, what is the truth? Is this thing the truth or that which I saw is the truth? So what is the point? The point is, I don't carry anything with me. I do not get tainted by any of the happenings in any of the states. If I am sleeping with a full stomach, I don't carry that full stomach in my dream. I may be hungry. Or someone who has no food may dream to be a rich landlord and having good food. Then in the deep sleep, none of this is there. In the deep sleep again, these things I don't carry with me. So what is the point? The point is, I do not carry along, I do not get tainted by any of the three states. I may be very sad, something might have happened. And then what I say? Sleep it off. You know, if you're very sad, if you're very tense, and they will tell you, sleep it off. Sleep it off, why? Because in the sleep it will not be there with you. In the sleep, you will not carry these emotions, you will not carry these thoughts. So sleep it off. So even, am I not avasthatraya atitaha? Am I not beyond the three states? The three states come and go in me. I'm not functioning in the three states. The three states are functioning in me. I should understand this. So beautiful it is. I should understand this. Then I will understand, okay, I am the substratum. I am the one who is giving and living, who is, then when the waking comes, then when the waking problem comes, then it will not be a problem. Because this waking state is in me, I am not in that. So therefore, avasthatraya atitaha is Lord and He knows that. I am also avasthatraya atitaha, but I am not aware of it. I don't know it today. Or even if I know it, I don't remember it all the time. So therefore, that is the meaning. Avasthatraya atitaha, even I am avasthatraya atitaha. So, dehatraya atitaha. Now in the waking state, which is the body which is most functional? The gross body. Of course, the subtle body and the causal body are there. Without the mind and intellect, I cannot function in the waking state. But what is the evident body which is functioning? The gross body. In the dream, it is the subtle body, the mind. In the deep sleep, it is the causal body, C-A-U-S-A-L, not C-A-S-U-A-L, not casual but causal. So it is the causal body which is evidently there in the deep sleep. What is causal body? Causal body is where the V of the BMI chart is there, where all the impressions are there. When the impressions are there, they are not manifested yet. It is like the CD. Looking at the CD, I don't know what is contained in the CD. Only when I put it in the right instrument, then I understand, okay, these are the contents. Similarly, the causal body has all the impressions. Only when it functions through the equipments of mind and intellect, I know, okay, these are the contents of the causal body. So therefore, in the deep sleep, it is the causal body. So now, if the Lord is beyond the three avasthas, waking, dream and deep sleep, is He not also beyond the three bodies, gross, subtle and causal? So therefore, Tvam Dehatraya Atitaha. Then, Tvam Kalatraya Atitaha. You are beyond time. A little thinking on what is time. Sanskrit, it is said, the definition of time is Krama Samvit Kalaha. Krama Samvit. Awareness of sequence is time. Very beautiful definition. Awareness of sequence is time. Therefore, in deep sleep, there is no awareness of time. Because there is only one thing which is going on. I don't know. One thing which is flowing continuously. Therefore, the awareness of time is not there. Therefore, Gurudev also says, what is time? Time is the gap. See, sequence. Sequence means what? One event then the other event, then the third event, then the fourth event. So when these events go one by one, the duration in between the events is time. Therefore sometimes, time goes very fast. Sometimes the time goes very slow. What is fast and slow? Sometimes the thoughts are running very fast. So there is lot of duration. So I say, hey, time ja hi nahi raha hai. Time is not going. Why? Because small time looks so big. Sometimes if you are doing something that you like, your hobbies, painting, gardening, whatever, right? Time chala gaya. It's just over. Why? Because that one thought was continuously there. That sequence was little lesser. There were lesser events. Therefore, you thought that time is it has passed very fast. Therefore, Gurudev would say, what is the unit of time? Second, not first. Because when the first is there is no awareness of time. Only when the second comes, the duration between the first and the second gives me the awareness of time. You will say it so. If you have heard in some videos, it will say it so beautifully. So again, when we say past, present, future, as we have seen, that past is only the present is only an imaginary line. Therefore, what is always told? Live in the present. If we really live in the present, it is actually going beyond time. Because there is no present. So when you are in the present, you are in a state where you are in a state of no mind. Why no mind? Because present is complete focus. What is mind? Mind is a flow of thoughts. If there are no flowing thoughts, there is one thought, then where is time? Where is sequence? So when Gurudev says, put your mind where your hands are working. If I really do that, I go beyond time. Don't we go beyond time for those few moments, for those few seconds when the thoughts are completely focused. I'm not speaking about deep sleep, because in deep sleep I'm not aware of it. In waking, when I'm doing something which I like, if you are cooking for your beloved, someone is coming, your child is coming, you're calling for a fish, you're cooking with all your attention. Doesn't the time just pass away? Don't you go beyond time? So, Kalatrayatita, I am also Kalatrayatita, but I go only sometimes. Otherwise, I come back to the thoughts and the mind. Therefore, I remain in Kala. But you are always Kalatrayatita. Therefore, you are my goal, O Bhagavan. So, Gunatrayatitah, Avasthatrayatitah, Dehatrayatitah, Kalatrayatitah. In some, there is something called as Patha Bheda. Patha Bheda, some readings have Avasthatrayatitah, some readings do not have Avasthatrayatitah. If you get some Avasthatrayatitah and if it is not there, doesn't matter, because Dehatrayatitah is there. And as we have seen, it is the same thing which we just conveyed. Tvam mooladhara sthitosi nityam Tvam shaktitrayatmakah Tvam yogino dhyayanti nityam Tvam brahma, Tvam vishnu, Tvam rudraha Tvam indraha, Tvam agnihi, Tvam vayuhu Tvam suryaha, Tvam chandramaha, Tvam brahma bhur-bhuvasvarom. Tvam mooladhara sthitosi nityam. So just now we have seen Atitaha. So Atitaha means okay, beyond, there, somewhere far away. No, mooladhara sthitosi nityam. Not somewhere there, right in you. Because when I say Atitaha, suddenly mind goes, okay, कहीं तो है, नहीं इधर है, मूलाधार स्थितोसि नित्यम. You are there. And nityam, not sometimes he comes and goes for a visit. No, nityam. Mooladhara, we have a great rich tradition. and there are various ways of worshipping Bhagavan. One of the ways is called the Yoga Vidya. Patanjali Maharishi, he has written Yoga Sutras. So in that, these 6 chakras are being enumerated. I have no information, not hardly, I have no information on this, so I won't go into any detail. Mooladhara means they say the chakra which is at your base, the monkey bone, the chakra which is there. What is the meaning? Oh Lord, you are there in me. Sometimes for Mooladhara they also say that he is right in your heart. Tvam Moola Adharaha. You are the very, the Moola Adhar, the main substratum, the main base for me. So you are not only Atitaha, you are here also. Whether in the heart, whether in the chakra, whatever you say. The Moola Adhara. Then also, when I say Atitaha, it means it doesn't mean beyond in physical way, it is actually untouched. Even Jivan Mukta, he is Gunatrayatita. If we read Bhagavad Gita, when they speak of a Jivan Mukta, they say he is Gunatrayatita. Means what? That he also functions when he also has a body, mind, intellect, he also has the pranas. So he is also functioning in the 3 gunas, in the realm of the 3 gunas. But he knows that I am not this. That not getting affected, that part is there. That is Atita. Otherwise, I am staying somewhere in the forest and then say I am not affected by the city problems. That has no meaning. You stay in the city and then you say that I am not affected. That is city problem Atita. So, Atita means not being affected, untouched. So, you are there in me but still you are untouched. Means what? Me, myself, that very me is going through all this, but I am untouched. That is what the Atharva Rishi is trying to tell us. Tvam Shaktitrayatmakaha. You consist of the 3 powers. In various ways it is said, as we have seen, the power of creation, sustenance and destruction. Then when Swami Brahmananji had come to A.T. Guptaji's house, he spoke about the 3 powers for Chinmay Mauli. Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. The 3 powers of knowledge. In any project that when we take up, what happens? First it comes in the mind, okay, this has to be done. Then Ichha, then, okay, is it really to be done? Then some people are gathered and everything happens. Then Ichha Shakti, yes, Sankalpa ho jata hai. Sankalpa Shakti, Ichha Shakti, yes, ye karna hai. And then Kriya Shakti, and it is actually done. So Jnana Shakti is required to have the vision, to see, to foresee. Then Ichha Shakti is required. Yeah, vision is there, but yes, it is to be done also. And then Kriya Shakti. For anything, even a small thing like cooking for a meal or making big projects. So you are the very source, you are from where all the 3 Shaktis also come. Tvam yoginah dhyayanti nityam. On you, all the great yogis meditate always. Now it can be Vedantic yogis where he is meditated upon as the Supreme Self, they meditate upon him as their own self. Or it can be, as we have seen, the Ashtanga yogis, where they meditate upon the various chakras or such things. Or it can be also any common man who meditates, who looks at, who does the dhyana of the Saguna Sakara Roop of the Lord, which we will see in the when we go to the temple here, what do? We go and meditate on we look at the beautiful form of the Lord. So therefore, this Tvam Yogino Dhyayanti Nityam is Nirguna, then as the Ashtanga Yoga also, and as the very form that we see. Tvam Brahma, Tvam Vishnu, you are the Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the sustainer, Rudraha, the destroyer. Then Indraha, Agnihi, Vayuhu, Suryaha, Chandramaha, what all of them do? They sustain, they hold the universe. Pusha, we saw in the Shanti part also, Surya is also called Pushan, the one who does the portion of everything. So portion. So all of them, this sustain. Then Tvam Brahma, you are the Sakshat Parabrahma. Tvam Bhur Bhuvah Swarom. One meaning of Bhur Bhuvah Swarom is Bhu is called earth, Bhuvaha is the space in between, and Suvaha is the Swarga Loka, the heavens, So Bhu Bhuvaha Suvaha, the three words. So they say all the three lokas come into this. So Swarom, so Suvaha. So the spiritual meaning of Bhur Swarom is given as Bhu is, Bhu is the root which is used as Bhavati. Bhu, it is Sattatmak Dhatu, it is what is the meaning of Bhu is to be. So existence, Sat, Bhu, to be, existence. Then Bhuvaha Bhavayati Prakashayati, that which illumines, that which shines forth, that which illuminates anything. So Chit Swarupa, as we have seen. And then Suvaha Sukhayati, Anandayati, Ahladayati, that which gives happiness. In Swarga, what is there? Why Swarga is called Suvaha? Because it gives happiness. So Ananda. So Sat Chit Ananda. Bhu Bhuvaha Suvaha Sat Chit Ananda. Therefore, you are the very Satchidananda. So this completes the 6th Anuvaka. So with the 6th Anuvaka, we complete the knowledge portion of Atharvashirsha Upanishad. Now if you see, Ganadim Purvamucharya, from here starts the Upasana part. So tomorrow when we meet, we will just have a small summary, a short summary of what we did at the knowledge portion, and then we go to the Upasana section. How to see this Lord? Yes, beautiful concepts, beautiful truths have been told to us from the Upanishad. Now how do we reach this? How do we achieve this? How do I understand that I am really avasthatraya atitaha? The oneness between me and the Lord. So, we had on the first day we had seen that Upanishads give me the dharma, the goal, which is Brahma, and also the means, which is dharma. So the goal has been so well told, and now the means will be told from tomorrow. We meet tomorrow. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. See you in the evening for the Bhagavad Gita lectures on chapter 15. You can see the link between the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita by now. So please don't miss. Hari Om.